What's up, everybody? Welcome to another week. Hope everyone is doing well. Sorry I am not live with you this week. I am going to be in Salt Lake City, and I am speaking at my friend Keaton Hoskins' mentorship group, Limitless Society. He's been coaching people on making money, becoming millionaires, and it's been fun to watch. So I'm going out to speak to those guys, and we'll probably have been done speaking to them by the time you're watching this. So for those of you at home and being part of this, thank you again. Let's talk about this week and this marble. Yeah, I wrote down some stuff from this week that really mattered. Like, I am doing all the physical things this week that really do help me chase my goals, and my current goals are doing the Katy Trail ride with Kelly, our Not Dead Yet production, putting together that content and really being prepared for it. The goal there is, like, I want to finish empty and enjoy it as much as I can. I don't have a time that I'm trying to chase or any of those things, but I've done this week's work. That's 2 hours a day on the bike. That's 5 or 6 times in the sauna, 5 or 6 times in the cold plunge, spent time doing my mobility work, handling all my physical things. I also got this week, I got to spend it with Luke and Maddie Lewis, Maddie Forberg. Been a longtime friend, and been awesome watching her grow up, and some exciting stuff I'll share with you guys about that soon. She's such a stud. For being 25, there's so much life experience there and so much insight. I'm very happy to have spent time with her this past week. I got to spend some time with Bonnie this week, being a bit more close and connected, taking time to actually be around each other and talk. Make sure that we're connecting on those things and make sure that our goals are exactly what I want them to be. Not I want them to be, sorry. That we are working toward what we want and what our purpose, and that we're always staying true to that and not holding some idea of maybe what isn't working for us. So always being able to look at that and address each other honestly and with an open heart and not looking at an attack. This week, we wrapped up our second month of running the Airbnb, and we had it booked for all but 1 day. Really cool seeing how that investment has moved around. I connected with 3 companies that I think are going to be on board for helping out and sponsoring production on Not Dead Yet. Again, like, I don't have any business doing this type of stuff, but I have the ability to talk to people and figure out what value I show them and what it could be worth to them to be part of helping us do this content. So this week was spent chasing all those things, doing things for my dreams. I connected with some other friends that I plan to see, and I got to go speak at this new thing. I got to show my best to a bunch of new people. I had the opportunity to speak at something and make it better simply because I was involved. And that's a fucking heavy one. So it's been a good marble. Been a really, really good marble. We've been talking the last couple weeks about goal setting and action. We talked about our 4 steps to accomplishing anything. And over the last couple weeks, we've gone over those. We have inspiration, which is us finding what it is that sparks that enthusiasm. There is our awareness of what part of that enthusiasm are we really trying to chase, making sure that we're fully aware of what we're wanting to do. We have our intention, which is what are we starting, like, what are we wanting to accomplish with this? What part of that fulfills us, not setting an expectation of when we'll have it done or any of those things. And finally, this week, we were talking about action, taking action, how you can do those things, getting it all done. So over the course of the past week or two within the group, and especially in Discord, like, I'm seeing people talking about their goals, seeing people getting a little frustrated, getting a little behind. And I want to take a second. It is so good to have this giant list of goals and things you want to accomplish. That means you're never going to run out of shit to do. There's always going to be things newly added to that list. But you can also start feeling like there's such a shotgun approach and you're not accomplishing anything. You're spinning your wheels and you're putting a lot of energy out, but you don't really feel necessarily like you're hitting any of those targets. Partly due to that, again, like we've talked about, is intention and alignment with your actions. So, not to pick on anyone, but here we go. Some of the goals I saw this week were things like be a better father, be a better partner. These type of goals are really arbitrary. They're really arbitrary, and they're going to be really tough to pinpoint what that looks like. And so an easy way for us to sidestep this before we get into anything deeper is, what are actionable goals? Now, be a better father, be a better mother, be a better spouse, be a better partner, be a better business owner. All these things are fucking great goals, and you should have them on your list. But how do you accomplish it? And if we're not giving ourselves steps and direction on how we get it done, then we're opening ourselves up to this better. How do we measure that progress, right? So taking something as simple as be a better partner. I don't want to put in better father as, look, I don't have any kids. I'm not trying to tell you how to do that. But being present, right? So adding something to your list like that of getting rid of my phone at a certain time of day if that's a distraction in the evening. Spending 2 hours with my kids or 2 hours with my partner in the evening, being very present and just with them and connecting, or however much time. But knowing that if I take that action often enough and I'm consistent, that will undoubtedly lead to being a better partner, being a better father, and being intentional in that time, not just showing up, not just doing it and sitting there, but being intentional and being present, right? And that goes back to our total accountability of things. We don't have to do shit. You're not obligated to do a fucking thing. So the other side of that coin, once we agree with that, once we make that agreement, and once we own that, is everything I do is a choice. And it's a choice to be better, right? So it's a choice to show up. It's a choice to invest my time, my energy, to put it into these people, these things that I've declared matter to me, that I want to be my best at. So making sure that you have some actionable ways to accomplish those things is going to be big. So as we start going through our goals, make sure that they are indeed actionable things that you can do something about. Give you an example of like what how I'm looking at stuff goal-wise right now. Like I like having a mental goal, I like having a physical goal, and I like having something of a bit more ethereal, right? Like a spiritual goal, let's say that. These are my big three components that I want to get better at all times. So how am I maintaining those three things? How am I getting better at them? So physical goals, right? I have the big goal of doing the Katy Trail ride. That'll be a thing that I can accomplish with the intention of like, I want to be able to do that at my best and finish completely empty that day. I want to be able to figure out the strategy. I want to be able to learn as much as I can from the process of doing something that as of right now, I don't think I can fucking, I could not complete. Could not complete. I know I'm rushing right now and I'm really sorry as I'm a bit jazzed up. It's been dumping rain and flooding the inside of the gym, and so I'm a little all over the place before flying out tomorrow. But that physical goal that I'm chasing, right, like that's a more of a long-term thing. That's something in September, but I have daily things to check in to know that if I do this, I'm in position to do that, right? So I'm riding with the intention of being steady, getting used to being on the bike, pedaling in circles, improving my ability as a cyclist, as well as the positioning that I can get in on the bike to be comfortable for a really long time. What was a few weeks ago a real struggle to spend an hour on the bike, now 2 hours a day really isn't a big deal. Don't think much of it. Just gets old getting that gross and sweaty all the time. I've been standing outside of dope and just hosing myself off like some type of vagrant. But such is life. You know, so again, if we look at that goal for the training thing and Why am I doing it? What's my intention of doing this ride? There's a few. There is to inspire people to do big things and show people that it's possible. There are clear-cut steps you can take to accomplish anything. Those 4 pillars, or 4, you guys decide what those 4 things. 4 components, I don't care, of accomplishing anything, right? It's like, I was inspired. Here's how it works. I started watching stuff like Nick Bear. And what a fucking incredible mutant that guy is. What he can do, what he can push himself through, and how he tells those stories. I'm inspired by that, and I want to tell my version of those hard things. And so the awareness for me of that is I can do bigger things than I thought I could. There's steps to take it, and this is a surefire way for me to start accomplishing these bigger adventures. And if I want to be an adventurer and someone who does these big, long, hard tasks, I have to do them. There's no other way around. That's the awareness. The awareness is I will create more by doing this, by giving my energy to it. I'll inspire other people. It will help drive more traffic to my things. It will grow my business. It will help grow the YouTube channel. It gives us content to share with other companies that I work for and help make money. Like, there's a big awareness. It's not just the inspiration piece. It's not just this other piece, but it is all of it together. And my intention overall is to finish that ride completely empty and give it as much of my soul as I fucking can. And if I'm not prepared for that, I won't be able to. I want to be able to pay attention and listen when that voice shows up and starts saying, we should stop. And my intention is to inspire people to do more, and that they can do more, and that there's these big epic adventures out there. And you don't have to fly to Colorado or Las Vegas or go to Europe. This is in Missouri. This is across town. It's one long day that could honestly change my life, change my perspectives, change myself. It's one long day. In action, the final thing is I have to do the work. That if I do X, I'll be ready to do more next week, and I can do more the following week. And when it come time for the ride, I'm prepared. I'm prepared for whatever challenges we didn't see come up that I'll be able to deal with, because I did control all the variables I could, right? Like, I'm in shape. I took care of my gear. I know how to hydrate. I know how to feed myself. I can maintain my nutrition. I can do all those things. So that's kind of my course of action to accomplishing these big, giant goals. And then for my, physical goal, mental goal, I look at that stuff as my business stuff. That's the creative problem solving that it takes me to grow businesses and continue to do that. And right now, it's a fight. Everyone I know running online businesses in this space is down anywhere from 20 to 40%, and everyone is struggling. It's a hard time right now. And if you are in this fight, I know it. It's not easy for anyone, so please don't get confused by what looks like online. Everyone is in the struggle, and everyone is trying to figure it out. We are going into a very uncertain time, and I know all this, so how can I control what I can control? I can make sure my costs don't get out of control. I can focus on putting out the best items that we can and providing the most value possible. And we can do that through giving more from Hate Brand, not just discounting and doing things like that, but giving more. How do I add value to people who already want to shop with us? That's providing information and education. It's being able to throw some add-ins into the bag as a thank you for supporting the brand, and really lean into those people who've had our back over the last 8 years that we've been in business. Seeing that growth is going to be a challenge, especially during right now. 1612, I'm excited about growing that. Things continue to go that way. One of those things we've done this week is Maddie Forberg is going to be coming on as one of our member coaches. And man, she has such a wealth of life experience and a great perspective at 25 of being able to help people and manage social media and not get caught up in the bullshit. She's moved around the country chasing her dreams from Florida to Pennsylvania, and now she's in Texas. She's been, she's been a power lifter and trained very specifically for that. She's overcome eating disorders, and there's so many things, and now working her way to become a professional bodybuilder. She's got the fucking stuff, dude. And I don't know how to explain that. When you know people that have it, you have to be around. And Maddie's one of those that I'm excited to be able to share more from with you guys, and her be able to take part of Discord and answer any questions. Also think it's really critical that we have another brilliant female coach to work with you guys. Bonnie and Maddie both together, we all share a very similar life philosophy and believe in this, making the most of the life that we have left. Maddie's battled with depression and suicide and everything else, as well as losing a parent. We share a lot of similar ground in a lot of places that aren't great. But that's life. So business-wise, I feel good about it. And then spiritually, I started reading a new book. Think Like a Monk. I was turned on to this by Brock Gomez, one of my buddies, and one of our cameraman from who helps us do production. Brock's been a longtime friend, and I've got to see a lot of cool shifts in him over the years. And so leaning into what works for him as well has been really great. Listening to what his insight is on those type of things, figuring out what's the best ways to continue making that progress. Think Like a Monk is just something I'm excited to work through, and I don't really want to address too much from the book with you guys until I've made my way through it and start looking at what journaling has come from me from doing it. What perspective shifts did I get, or any of those things. So that for me, right? Like I'm spending that time on the spiritual side, looking for growth and questioning things that make me uncomfortable. Why am I this way? Why do I think this way? Why am I addressing my problems this way? Why do I use the same method for trying to solve these problems? So having more of that awareness gives me more of an opportunity to make decisions and try to do things better going forward and not make the same things and fall into the same traps. So getting some getting some journaling assignments in there that are really going to kind of push my edge is what I'm looking for. So that's taking care of that bucket as well. Now also doing the journaling and stuff in there, like I said earlier, journaling that's not meant to be consumed by anyone else. A lot of my journaling ends up being part of my business and part of the writing and part of what I talk to you guys about now. Whether or not this will down the road, I don't know. It probably will. But as of right now, that's not my intention of writing it. There's a big difference when you're journaling, knowing that you're going to share this and know that it's for no one else. So I'm trying to be very, very specific and with my intention of knowing that this isn't for someone else. Because I know it when I feel it the other way. I know that as soon as I feel like, holy shit, there's an audience for this, I'm talking to them directly and I'm not just working through myself. Those are very different things. One of those is an output, giving, sharing, and one of those helps me. I could do both, but I need the one that's just refilling. As we've continued to talk about burnout, it's not all gone. Like I'm there. I feel much better this week, much more clear-headed, much more able to solve problems, and less frustrated and less quick to snap when I get stressed. So I feel like I've got some progress I've made, which is great. Because when I left over a couple weeks ago on that trip, I was really in a rough spot. Just really struggling mentally to do all those things. Elliot shared his guidebook on stress. This is fucking excellent stuff. Please look through this. Because if you're not figuring out how to manage stress, it's going to become a problem at some point. because the direction we all want to go is making our lives the best they can for us. That takes probably making some more money, it takes some changes, it takes some awareness. It's going to take a lot of time being uncomfortable and questioning a lot of things that should or feel like should be sorted out by now. They're not, and that's okay too. The moment we have that awareness, the moment we allow ourselves to notice it and allow ourselves to decide this is something I'd like to change, then we can. But until we acknowledge it, there's no real way to address the issue. So as we're looking at journaling and everything this week, a few things I want you guys to think about. In my goals, what is actionable? What are the actionable things to do? It's okay to have goals that are more arbitrary, but I need to have a plan for accomplishing them. Remember back in very early on when we spoke, one of those things we talked about was how accountability, especially with a group, leads to accomplishing goals. And while the first step of that is taking some out loud voice to yourself of what your fucking goals are, gives you a 10% chance of accomplishing it. And the second you share it more openly with someone else or make a plan, all of these things go up the ladder. If you join a program to help you accomplish these goals, we almost see a 95% success rate. And that's what we're here for. But if we don't have actionable things to do and we're not putting a plan together, we're just saying them out loud. So finding those goals and being able to decide what your actions are, what's your first step, what's a thing you can do today to move the needle toward that goal 1 degree. Looking at atomic habits and all those things, right? Like those 1 degrees are where we really make a difference because they're consistent and they change. And they can be done over time. You know, if I'm someone that gets in the cold plunge today and I did the sauna and someone asked me like, hey man, do you ever sauna or cold plunge? I can say, well, I have, but I can't say that I do. And for me, if those are things that help me, I want to be someone that does. I do journal. I do take care of my body and my recovery. I do sit still and work on my breath. I do have awareness for what I want, what my purpose is, what my intentions are, and how I plan to accomplish those things. So making sure that you're aligned with those is going to help you really stay focused and actually start knocking those goals off of your list. And that's what we want, right? We just want to be taking constant steps toward this progress. And progress is what we always want. We always want to be making forward progress with the ability to make our lives better. That's within all of us, and we have such a great resource of people and coaches within this community that I believe anything can be done. I'm excited about a lot of stuff I've got coming up, and with you guys, we have this August weekend that you guys are going to come in. It's unofficial 1612 meetup. I don't know what things look like for me. We still have a kind of a lot of things in the air right now with family and just some other stuff that we're kind of on the chopping board about, you know, not that, doesn't matter, we'll be open about it. Bonnie's mom they've just brought hospice to the house, so that's kind of where we're at with things there. I know that she doesn't talk much publicly about it, but here we are, and it is her business, so I'm not trying to spill anything else other than this is a big stress in our life that we're just battening down the hatches, that we're just trying to be ready to help and ready to be available when we're needed. There's nothing we can do. And it's tough. It's tough feeling that uselessness for people that are actionable, for people that want to make decisions, and people want to control what they can control. And this one is completely out of our hands. So is a lot of life. And if I focus on those things, it's always going to be too much. There's always going to be shit that I can't control and shit that I can't seem to get a handle on. Whether that right now in this fucking uncertain time that we're in is inflation, is a recession that's coming, is changes to online business sales, is all of these things are something that everyone has to deal with, and they're not under my control. But what, again, I can control, right, is what I give my energy to and what I put my actions to. And I can always accomplish those things. But because I'm stressed about all these other things with business or with what the economy looks like or what housing market or Bonnie's mom or my issues or what I have work coming up or my stress that I can't control, then I don't have any energy to give to my stuff, to my goals. I want to make sure that I'm taking action always toward the direction that we want to be going. This past week, we even got a chance to really start dream boarding again, or dream lining. If anyone isn't familiar with that term, I'd recommend 4-Hour Workweek from Tim Ferriss. They cover it pretty early in the book. There's a lot to go through. I know Josh Newman and I have been talking about it quite a bit in our one-on-one calls, and there's a lot there. And seeing Josh be able to make decisions about what their future is going to be and how they want to live it with these mini retirements and everything else for their family just fires me up to see someone be able to let go of what they believe to be this standard right path toward doing something else, something more uncomfortable, something different. But it fires me up. I have no interest in following the standard path of life or whatever that's supposed to be. It's such an arbitrary thing to say normal, when in fact, who gives a shit? I don't want to be. I want to do the things that set me on fire. And I'm responsible to them. And that's why every week I've got to check in to look at where I am and what I've done, how to measure that progress and have gratitude for it, and as well as what are my next actionable steps to move me toward my goals. And that's why I share those things with you guys too, because I have a plan and I want to be accountable and I want to be 95% chance that I hit my goals. And I want to see you guys do the same. This is week 1173, weeks out from death. They're going to keep going. They're going to accelerate faster. So taking action. I look at a lot of stuff with action and where it falls and what an important thing being able to take action is and make a decision over what you want to accomplish. But without direction of the other things we talked about, your intention, your awareness, and your inspiration, we're not fixing the compass toward anything in particular. It's a bit more of a cloud. So the more direct we can get, the more we can plan what steps it is to be that. What it is to be in 5 years from now I'd like to do, and what skills does that person have? And if that guy has skills of, say, welding or fabric cutting, or who fucking cares, design work, right? Like, you're going to have to learn them. I was able to teach myself very early on with HVIII and with everything else I was doing. I learned how to video edit. I learned how to use Photoshop, very rudimentary, by the way, and all these things, but enough to get the job done, enough to tell my story, and enough to get my intention across to an audience. I can do enough that I don't have to depend on someone. And I don't ever want to feel like my goals can't be accomplished by me alone, because I believe they can. I don't have to have support and background. I don't have to have great luck. I can just do. And again, my overarching goal is I want to spend as many of the days of the rest of my life doing what I want. And right now, what I want to do is create. I want to create inspiration. And I want to create that fucking fire in people that they feel the same way I do about my life. I want to help people build lives that they're worth dying for, because we're fucking dying. Make no mistake. That's how this goes. Look at what relief people get whenever they see, or, we've heard people get stories, given a terminal illness and they have this long to live. And man, the fucking, the anchors come off. They're free to do anything because there's no risk anymore. They know the end of the story. Well, I'm telling you right now, we know the end of the story. So live accordingly. Push yourself and find those limits and find your pursuit, find your purpose. Use these journaling topics. These are all methods to build awareness of what it is you want and how we can build a plan for you to accomplish those things. But inaction is what'll fucking kill you. That paralysis through analysis will fucking kill you. Take a step today. We're not going to sit there and just analyze and make decisions. You know, having time to dream like Bonnie and I did the other day, right? Like I have a dream of how I want to build our property out in the Airbnb and all of this. But we also just now added a dream of moving to Grand Junction, Colorado. And as of right now, I don't have to hit a fork in the road because both dreams need the same things to accomplish. I need to change up whatever my income is. I need to increase my income. I have options to do that here in St. Louis. I need to make sure I have a plan for my team and everything else and how I can operate from that distance. But that's so many steps down the road, that's not actionable yet. But the first things we can do along those dreams are look at actions. Is this a viable place that hits the boxes that work for us? Nature, airport, how easy is it to get there? What are we close to? Do they have things like fucking Amazon getting delivered? All of these type of things that we need to know to be able to make that decision. And as we check those boxes, it's easy to go, okay, cool, this is doable. This is something we can do. This is something that's chewable on. And it's not forever. It may be. But I'm not obligated for it to be. If I want to go spend a chapter and live out there, I can do that. If I want to change things up and move around and try something new in life, I have the ability. These can be giant things or they can be small things. You know, if you want to be someone who, you know, who do you admire, right? Like this is a talking point that Johan's dropped in the journaling. Who do you admire and why? You know, if I'm looking at someone right offhand right now, Aubrey Marcus. It's fucking incredible. Watching what they accomplished with Arcadia and being able to create such a unique feeling of people who honestly believe they were going to change, who are going to change the world, who believe they are creating something bigger than themselves to live on long after they're gone. This is a fucking purpose. This is an awareness. And back to, as weird as the world is and as unpleasant as I find it and as frustrating as I find the media and the news and all these other things, we have an opportunity with the 1612 to be the change, right? And if we're kind and we're aware and we operate out of love and not scarcity, and we treat the people around us with the empathy that we should have, and we're actionable and goal-driven and we're not looking to be fucking saved, we are that change. A society of people more like that is what we need. And not people who can't solve their own problems and aren't willing to problem solve and need daddy to hold their hand or need permission to try their dreams. The system is not built for dreamers. The system is not built for those of us who want more. So we have to work extra hard for what it is we want. The system and our education system is built to move you into being a factory worker. All this is pretty well documented, right? Like we built our education system to look a lot like the Japanese system looked and all these other things, which makes great fucking soldiers, makes great fucking factory workers. Well, one of those things we don't have a fucking lot of anymore. So people falling in line and shutting up, sticking to it, isn't the great long-term solution for us. First and foremost, before I wrap things up, like I want to say thank you to all of you. Having this group and having this community of people has changed my life in 6 months. It's something that I never thought I would do. It's something I never thought I could be good at. something I had a lot of imposter syndrome around. Who would want to listen to me, and who's interested in this philosophy that I have, and who wants to talk about these subjects I have when there's so many other great leaders out there? I thank you. I thank you for the opportunity of letting me help, for letting me share, for letting us try to build something special here that can have an impact on your life. So as we leave, let's look at those journaling assignments, right? Take a look at your top 3 goals. Give me a physical, give me a mental, and give me a spiritual. Mental for me falls into business because that's what most of my problem solving goes into. But let me know 3 of your goals, and let's work through the 4 steps. What was your inspiration for that goal? What's the awareness behind the inspiration, right? Like, what does it boil down to that you love about it? For me, I like creating, adding, being an addition to this world, bringing something more to it than I am fucking taking. What's your intention? My intention is to spend as many of my days in my life doing what I want, being around people I want to be around. And then what are the actions I can do to do that? Speak to you guys. So let me know those 4 steps and what your goals look like. Sorry, this is a little bit of a short call as we're having a disaster of weather here in St. Louis. Elliot, I know, will be taking over the call from here on out. I've tried to record this 3 times and all of them got shut off due to a power surge. So here we are. Thank you guys again. And believe me, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in life. And I say that as genuinely as I can. But I know where I've fucked up in the past, and I know I won't do those again. So that eliminates a lot of bad routes. And I know that the more I trust myself, the more confidence I build, the more skills I have, the more experiences I have to lend me to think through problems better, the better I'll be. And those things are all stuff I can choose to do every day. I can choose to learn, I can choose to find new information, and I can choose to find things that push my boundaries and limits to expand my world and my consciousness. So, thank you. I'll see you guys later this week. I'm gonna go kick the shit out of this speech for Limitless Society and let them know what we're about. Let them know what the 1612 is, and that making all that money is fucking great, but if you're not going to do it for your purpose of living a life that you love, it's just going to be money. It won't bring you any of those other things. And what I want is to be fucking happy. But again, happy is an arbitrary thing. So we have to have actions, and we have to know what makes us happy. What actions bring us enthusiasm? So as I leave you, that's what I'm going to hit you with. Elliot, thank you guys for taking over. Nick, Johans, Bonnie, thank you guys for all the work that you do as our coaches. And everybody in Discord, as soon as Maddie is involved in there, please welcome her and hit her with any questions you can and let her know what the 1612 is about and how important it's fucking been to you. So thank you guys again. Look forward to seeing you in August. We have 6 spots left open for the intensive retreat in November. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to being able to dig in and share some stuff with you guys that I haven't got to yet. Some of the more deeper emotional work that we can do as a group and be facilitated that can unlock a lot of your bullshit and allow you to let go of those anchors and start making progress forward based on the years in front of you and not what's been behind us. 1612 is focused on the years ahead and not what we were. So 1100 and now 72 weeks to go. I'm here for it. Thank you guys again. I love you. I'll see you next week. And let me know if you have any questions. Hit me this week in Discord, anything I can help with. Thank you guys.